time of making this review, the Relacart PM-320 is almost half the price of the trusty Sennheiser G4 IEM. But are the PM-320s any good? I couldn't find a decent review online, so I thought I'd make one. To keep things short and simple, I like them. They sound good and the range is good. It's equally as good as the Sennheiser G4 IEM, I'd say. But the PM-320s do have a few quirks which I'll go into. Let's start off by taking a look at the body. It's made from aluminium and it's surprisingly lightweight. The screen is bright enough to be used outdoors and is slightly recessed, so it should avoid being smashed against the floor when a crew member eventually drops it. The antennas are not removable, and it is best to keep this thing away from the phone in your pocket, because you might hear some occasional RF noise through your headphones if they get too close to each other. Battery life is around 8 hours when using Panasonic Eneloop 1900 mAh batteries. There are two small indicators within the battery hatch to guide you on which way round the AA batteries should be orientated. And whilst the battery door is perfectly secure, it does feel a bit flimsy and it's definitely the weakest part of the design. If it breaks, I can't see an easy way of repairing it, and it's actually worth mentioning that I bought 6 of these and one of them arrived with a temperamental battery door that would seize and jam. But I have to give a shout out to the team at Pink Noise Systems. They replaced the unit super fast for me without any questions, without any hassle, so they were really great. The headphone knob has a nice weighty feel to it and turns the unit on pretty much instantly with a satisfying click. The headphone amp powers my Audio-Technica N50X headphones pretty easily, although the headphone amp is ever so slightly noisier than the Sennheiser G4 IEMs by comparison. The sound quality is good though, and definitely comparable to the G4 in that regard. If you're looking for an affordable protective case for these units, I can recommend the Lowepro Tasca 10. It fits absolutely perfectly and is made from non-slip neoprene material. Okay, now I'm going to scroll through the menu system so you can see what settings are available on the unit. And straight away here's where we get into some of the quirks. Annoyingly, the up and down buttons on the face of the unit are programmed back to front. So when you click the down button, it actually travels up in the menu and vice versa. The screen lock feature is nice to have, but it's a bit odd in the sense that it's accessed via the menu system. So when it's enabled, it doesn't stop you from cycling through any of the menus, it just prevents you from making any changes. It's a bit unorthodox and inefficient, but ultimately it works. Thankfully, this is the sort of product where you won't be menu diving too much. It's usually set and forget for the most part. The squelch setting works well at 15 dB in my experience. It prevents you from getting any nasty RF fuzz when going out of range from the transmitter. There are pre-existing frequency groups on the PM-320 that match up with the Sennheiser transmitter groups, but you can also store and recall custom frequencies as well. When you set the unit to mono mode, you get diversity reception from both antennas, which should help prevent signal dropouts as well. Another quirk is that in the tuning menu, if you hold down the arrow buttons for long enough, they will auto scroll for you. It just takes a little longer than you'd expect to get going. I've recorded a quote-unquote real-world range test in which I have my Sennheiser G3 transmitter resting on the edge of my sound bag, and it's set to 30 milliwatt transmit power. I'm sending a constant sine wave from my sound device's mixer to the IEM, so you'll be able to audibly hear if the signal drops. I'm wearing the PM-320 on my belt hook in the protective pouch I mentioned earlier, and I'm recording and monitoring the output. Hopefully this review is helpful, and I'll be sure to update it if I run into any reliability problems in the long term. And if you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below and I'll try my best to answer them. Cheers.